Oh, welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Mark. I'm your host, and today on the show, I've got a friend in recovery, and his name is George. George, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
See you again.
Good to see you too. All right, George, I brought you a present. Do you know what it is?
It might be the recovery band.
It is. Kick it. Oh. Here's something for your ego. So today's a happy day. It's I'm good to be sitting here with you. We're at the brand new.
Yeah.
The brand new
Right.
Sterling Room
2.0.
2.0. We're walking in here and it's like, this is an amazing room.
Yeah. It's taking flight, man, which is crazy.
Yeah. It is. It's good to see it. It's good to see it all set up.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we were talking the last time I was over here about like the old room closing and moving forward. Mm-hmm. And you had some pretty good wisdom on that, on moving forward. And
that's what progress is forward movement, and that's what, like, you can't fall back on that. Oh, it's progress, not perfection. Yeah, but it's forward movement. It's not stagnant. We're not in a retrogressive move, like it says.
Oh, and like the keys of the kingdom.
You know it.
Yeah.
I know you knew that.
I try to know that. Maybe I'm built-in forgetters.
Yeah. Get it.
So we were laughing here. Can I go ahead and kick you that resentment? So, hey, Clay, if you're listening, the first two columns, right? The first two columns of the 4-step, 365 daily affirmations that won't help you one bit. This isn't today's date, but April 27th. I'm resentful at Ronnie. Overnight tech at rehab number 3. The cause. Thought she was cool because she was sober for 6 years or whatever. Her dogs weren't nice to me, but they were nice to everyone else. She said I was seeking meds, that I'm not really sober if I take 20 milligrams of Suboxone and smoke weed.
Weed. That's a lot of praying to do.
Yeah, it is. So George, you were on the very first episode of The Share.
By the grace of God, yes. Try not to be sarcastic, right? But it is a grace of God. Yeah. It was beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And and I'm happy to be sitting here with you. And we've had a lot of conversations about recovery over the last few months. We've had a lot of conversations about like Bill and the big book. But I see you brought your little red book.
Yeah.
Can you for the people that don't know about the little red book, can you explain the little red book? Maybe read that thing that you love out of it, or talk about it a little bit?
What's beautiful about it, though, is that it was written by someone that wasn't in the program. Webster, his last name, but the person that was the consultant on this was Dr. Bob, and I believe Dr. Bob is more spiritual than Bill Wilson. I mean, pretty much so, and it's great to have the author being directed by someone so spiritual, like an icon, and this was back in like 46, which is like 7 years after the big book. And it was meant to be like a workbook going along with the big book, like
really?
How the 12 and 12 is now. This was meant to be, and somehow it just didn't take off. Maybe Bill caught a resentment and wrote the 12 and 12. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
This is all speculation.
Exactly, take it with a grain of salt. But, Bill Wilson is that guy,
Well, Bill got his own movie. I don't see a Dr. Bob movie.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
And his name has to come first on almost everything I see. Bill and Bob. Okay.
So the Little Red Book's a companion to the big book.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's awesome because it explained the backdrop of spirituality, and it mentioned that how it's not a religious program, and that it's taking tenets which are like virtues and from religion, psychology, and medicine. It's taking the essence of those kind of doctrines and formulating a direction, which is like the blueprint of life, where you look at things in a psychological perspective, you look at a medicinal kind of direction, and you look at, you take the essence out of religion, and it's a loving God and it's guidance and inspiration. And it shows how that's all, formed together.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Because I know, look, I'm gonna do that thing. You gave me a copy of the Little Red Book. now this is the point, like where George is like, well, where's your Little Red Book?
I'm chilling.
It's at home on my bookshelf.
Good. Yeah. We'll bring the bookshelf in next.
So you always go to this passage in there. Do you care to read it to the people and to the listeners and
it's in step 12, but it's out of a story in the back of the book, which was the Southern Friend. And it's incredible because it's so insightful, and it's one of those kind of passages like you keep coming back and then it makes sense, But in the beginning, it's like a foreign language.
Now, did you say this isn't in the Southern Friend anymore?
No, because what they did, they amended some of the stories to fit other stories in it, as they went from the first to the second to the third to the fourth edition. That they amended this story, and I went ham, like looking for this because this is the most impactful thing I've ever read. You know? It's amazing.
Does it have to do with John Barleycorn in that story?
No, it's Bill Wilson, man. Bill is that guy, man.
All right, I'll let you take it away, George.
Okay, here it goes. It says excerpts from our Southern Friend in the Big Book mention this serenity. It says God produces harmony in those who receive his spirit and follow its dictates. Today, when I become more harmonized within, I become more in tune with all of God's wonderful creation. There are periods of darkness, but the stars are shining no matter how dark the night. There are disturbances, but I have learned that if I seek patience and open-mindedness, understanding comes, and with it direction by the Spirit of God. The dawn comes, and with it more understanding and a joy of living that is not disturbed by circumstances or by people around me. Wow. Is that a drop the mic passage?
That is a drop the mic passage.
It says everything that all these other books say in less words,
Yeah, wow, I'm getting trust in God and be unbothered.
Yeah, I mean it's like the other best amended version of all of this is trust God, clean house, and help others. It's one of those kind of things. It's like a picture of a beautiful sunset over an ocean, and it doesn't say anything, but it says so much. It's one of those kind of moments, man.
That's fantastic. So when you first read that, how did that hit you? Do you remember?
It was intense, and it expounded on a lot of the steps that I've read. Which in the Big Book, it gets more involved in the steps once you get to how it works. But everything up into them, talking about steps 1 and 2, it doesn't really pinpoint what exactly do you do to let go and powerlessness. And in step 1 in here, it talked about the medical condition and stuff like that as well. And that's what's good about this. This is similar to the 12 and 12. I'm not making one over another. Yeah. But it's just great that this came right after the Big Book to kind of help guide people, especially in early recovery, to let them know that it's mind and body, like it says in the doctor's opinion, the mind is just as sick as the body. So,
the mind is sick, isn't it? The obsession.
Go to a meeting.
Woo! you have the 12 and 12 and the big book there with you too. Do you got something to kick out of the 12 and 12 that goes
12
with that?
12 is, and this was what I mean. It's like that little passage said so much, and in a 12 and 12 it says something over here, and I think it's step 11, and it says it was talking about prayer. It says perhaps one of the greatest rewards of meditation and prayer is the sense of belonging that comes to us. We no longer live in a completely hostile world. We are no longer lost and frightened and purposeless. The moment we catch even a glimpse of God's will, the moment we begin to see truth, justice, and love as the real and eternal things in life, we are no longer deeply disturbed by all the seeming evidence to the contrary that surround us in purely human affairs. We know that God lovingly watches over us. We know that when we turn to him, all will be well with us here and hereafter. See, and it's one of those things, like it just, I don't know, man. This stuff is like, it's just like pure uncut whatever your DLC is. This is the real stuff, man.
That's wow. Yeah. That's crazy how you just related those two to each other. Well, I mean, it kind of relates itself, right? Exactly. It's spirituality.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's. Can I ask you a story? I don't remember if we talked about this the last time. Like you have spirituality in your program, and I see you working it. I see you living it. How did you come to believe?
It wasn't so much as coming to believe, but it was just letting go of my disbelief. That's really what it was. Ooh. Because I start when you think, like let's just take baseball, and if you think you've got a good home run swing and you keep striking out, and someone say, hey, man, if you can improve it, maybe put your elbows in, maybe do this stance, and you're still like, no, I know what I'm doing, man. I'm better than you. And you keep striking out, and it's almost like, you know what? Maybe he's right. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. Like, I believed that I didn't believe. I was like Bill, and Bill was really confirming what they was all saying. He was like, I could go for Spirit of Light, but I couldn't go for Czar of the Heavens. That's what the Spirit of Light is, dude. Like you're trying to look for a loophole, and that's what you're describing is what it is. It's everything that we think it is, because we're finite. And intellectually, we're trying to describe something that is powerful than us and more intelligent than we are. And it's no one will be accurate, on what God is.
Yeah. That's okay. So I remember when we were working together. Can I go blow the anonymity here?
No, please.
So this is my sponsor, George, my East Coast sponsor, George. Here's how funny how God works. My West Coast sponsor is named George also.
And I want to give a shout out to the sub guy, because his anniversary date is October 25th. My anniversary date is October 25th. And you just put him on the one previously, and I was just listening to it on the way here, and I was like, wow, man, that's God. Like, it connects the dots, man. And that's what recovery is. It's the momentum of those spiritual experiences.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
Man, listen.
You can't make this stuff up, right?
We used to think we lied when we was high and drunk. No, this is real. Uncommon sense becomes common sense. That's what this is, man. Like what we think this is, it's way more larger than what we really think we're touching on here.
Yeah, it's all right. So, okay, so we've got my old big book, right?
Yeah.
God, that thing's been through war.
Moment of silence.
What are you going to start playing taps? And we got the new big book,
nice,
which is starting to get broke down.
Good.
Get it easy. But okay, so I remember when in this big book, you had me write out character defects, right? Yes. Before you gave me the never-ending list of them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I remember I had them written on a cover. Well, the cover fell off, and I was like, oh, look, I'm defect-free. But I also had written in the book, remember that list of attributes you had me write of a higher power?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I had this list, and I used to always talk about this list. And the funny thing is I kept that even after it fell out of the book, I always kept it in a safe place. And I lost that list. And I felt it was God saying, okay, I'm either everything or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's like to grow from a not, like you're talking about, like to grow from having a God that I would fire like a bad employee, right? And to not having one, to coming to believe, to be in higher power, and then to God. And then we spent many hours talking about kind of like maybe what God is, God isn't, like like just talking back and forth, and to go from that to God is everything or God is nothing, like that's growth.
Yeah. And that's our only hope, is the growth and maintenance of the spiritual experience. That's the hope that we have. That's the only thing we have. We have to grow.
Yeah. Now you look in your journey from where you started and to where it is now, like your growth with God and like, do you always feel like a nearness from your Creator as long as you keep doing what you're doing? Like,
yes. And I've come to rely on it. I really do. And when challenges come, I cheerfully embrace those challenges. I love challenges. I'm cleaning windows, and there might be some baby stuff around the window, and the lady said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm moving." I'm like, "Please, I can do challenges, like this. Don't worry, don't make it too easy, Yeah, and that's what it is, man. It's like I know I'm on this path. It's not. I feel that I'm in the light, So it's no use to be afraid. All those fears just drop.
Yeah. It's, you know what I'm holding here.
Yeah,
right?
I know it's 133.
Do you want to kick it for?
I allow you though, man, because I want to give you your flowers, man, because this is your anniversary, man. You keep trying this humility move on me, but I am so proud of you, man. This is incredible, man. You read it, but I listen.
All right. So George turned me onto this page, and it meant so much. So maybe we could break this one down.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. So. Page 133. Now, whenever I'd ask George a question, he'd always be like 133. And so it says, we are sure God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. We cannot subscribe to the belief that this life is a vale of tears, though it was just once that for many of us. But it is clear that we made our own misery. God didn't do it. Avoid then the deliberate manufacture of misery. But if trouble comes, cheerfully
capitalize on it as an opportunity to demonstrate his omnipotence. That is, these guys to be sober. Come on, no way.
So you read, what was now? That's your favorite page in the big book?
That's my favorite page. That's my favorite sentence in the big book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember when it became your favorite sentence?
When I was getting evicted. During the pandemic a couple of years ago. And I've been in sobriety like 12 and a half years, man. And it's been a pink cloud for like maybe 8 years, 7 years. It was just everything I touched turned to gold. I was like, wow. And it was due to service. But things started mishappening for me, and I'm like, I'm doing everything I can, man, and I'm losing jobs, I'm this and that, my wife's struggling, and life and financial insecurity is hitting me, and I got back to praying, and I started seeing like the response. God's response was to keep persevering through that. That's what one of the principles is perseverance, and you have to go through it even when you doubt it. Just keep going, because it's only hell if you stay in it. When you're going through hell, you go through it, and you come out the other side. Yeah. And I saw that when I was evicted. I started laughing because I identified with what God is putting in my place, because it's like when one door closes, so another one opens. And I knew that. I knew it. I was 100% sure. And I laughed at her. My wife was upset. She was like, I don't know what's so damn funny. And I said, well, when trouble comes, cheerfully capitalize on it. And right after that, we got evicted. And the week that it was happening, she searched online for a place, and we found a place. And I've been in there for 4 or 5 years now. And next door is another place, and it's a big sign called Recovery First. I live right next door to Recovery First, and it was like God has put me where I need to be.
Yeah. Well, I kind of see like maybe like a little bit of what's behind that. Like we make mountains out of molehills and we create our own misery.
Yeah, we deliberately do it most of the time.
Well, do you think that's like us as the alcoholic, or is what we've always done?
I think in this drama of life, if there's no liberation spiritually, we're stuck down here with life and these struggles in life. And if you're this or if you're that, when instead of the solution should be higher on a higher level. Like it says, God would want our heads to be up in the clouds with him, but our feet on the ground where we could do the most service. It's like my thinking has to be on an ideal level with like the principles. They're like things to shoot for, and not be stuck down here and, I got bills and all that. That's okay. Sometimes you might have enough money just to pay bills, and that's what the money was for, So I have to accept that. And when I complain about things, I'm complaining about God's handiwork anyway. So, I can't win going against the grain. I have to just go with it and go through it.
Yeah. You seem to handle this program in this life fairly well because of applying this. Now, you're not defect free, are you?
Oh, no, Kids, don't try this at home without a sponsor, right? No, I have a ton of them that aren't even named yet. They still making up names for my character defects. But I work on them, and they're more manageable, I like to say. Even like lust, right? There'll be a hot girl on the bus. I'll look once, I won't look twice. You know what I'm saying? I'll walk down the street and they'll look at me and they'll say, good morning, have a nice day. And I'll just keep walking. I want to look back, but I got to keep walking because I've got to, God is watching me, God is trusting me. He's putting some trust in me, man. So I'm like, I'm doing this for you, God. I'm not doing this for me,
Oh, my God.
I'm trying to stay close to you and follow you. Do your work well, all right? Trust me.
Can I read something to you, George? Please. All right, so this is out of the Sarcastic Big Book, second edition.
Shout out to him. I love recovery.
Yeah. So here we go. This is on page 22, and this is about the fourth step. Can we rip it about the fourth step? But here it is. Here's the sarcastic version. Use working on your inventory as an opportunity to get more attention than usual. Moan to anyone that'll listen to you feel terrible about how selfishly you've behaved, but don't be in a rush when it comes to actually changing anything about your behavior. Regarding your inventory, share meetings in a way that implies that you are really sick, sicker than most. It's possible to drag this on for months or even years. There are a couple paths you could take in order to achieve this. Option 1, barely write at all. 1 or 2 names a day, if that, and only do that because you're not technically lying when you're telling people you're working on it. Make literally anything that comes along during the day more important than working on your inventory. And when you finally do crack open your notebook, barely lift a finger. Option 2. Write constantly. Make it so complex that even you don't understand what you're doing anymore. Write pages and pages about the harms you've done and write about it in great deal so you're able to relive it and get angry and sad. On the bright side, this routine will be extremely effective in terms of keeping you from getting the actual inventory. Your part. Drag the first 2 columns on and on and on and on and on. But if you happen to be a reader who actually wants to complete the 4th step in a timely manner, we suggest some kind of worksheet, something you can easily download from the internet. There with the Serenity Prayer. You're laughing over here. Let's talk about it.
Because they have a saying that the 4th step takes 6 months and 2 weeks to do. It takes 6 months to procrastinate and 2 weeks to actually do it. So I get it. I'm a witness to this happening around me. So
yeah,
and the thing is that it's a process. It's like I look at the 12 steps as one big step with 12 parts. and the quick, and because once I get through all of this and have that awakening goes back to that I'm powerless over this, and that there's a solution, that I have to make some changes and some decisions differently than I did, and all of this stuff works together, as a team.
Yeah.
So the quicker I go, not really stressing higher power, not really stressing, it's a decision, 3 frogs on the logs. Come on, let's go. Let's pass that. All right, just make a decision to come here and do some work.
Yeah. When you look at that, when you look at the step 4 and the importance of it, and what is the importance? Like, do you feel the importance is behind 4 and 5?
To me, it's about self-forgiveness. Because a lot of times I can beat myself up on my past. And that's why the rearview mirror is so small. It's really not that big of a thing. It happened. It's in the past. Let it go. But a lot of us take those moments from the past, and every Mother's Day is grief. And it's like, come on, man. Like I'm losing what's in today. I have to learn to forgive myself. I was sick. I have to learn to forgive others that I thought I was mad at because I was sick. And a lot of that's what it's all about, man. Like I said, God, that we can't help everyone, and it's in step 4 after it talked about the angry person. To have the same, character defects as we, as the same symptoms, we learn to pray for them, and then after that, it talked about we don't retaliate and we don't argue. We wouldn't treat sick people that way, and what it says is that we can't be helpful to all people, to all the people, but God will show us how to have a loving and tolerant view of each and every one of them. And that's what we learn in the 4th step. Like all of those problems that we thought we had, we have to learn to be tolerant. Like my mother don't have to. She could hide her money from me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she don't have to give it to me when I ask for it. I mean, when I'm using, come on, like it's inconsiderate to people. And we have to learn that a lot of times. We're inconsiderate, so we don't repeat those mistakes in sobriety, like you see happening.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, that 4th step. I remember being so scared of the 4th step. Oh my God, I'm going to talk. Well, more, I guess maybe, you know what? Now that I think about it, I was scared of 5.
Yeah, 5 is harder than 4, man.
Because I'm sitting here saying it to you now. I'm like, I got to talk to somebody else about what I've done. So really, that's a big step, but. I'm not the only one that did things in my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we read stories in these books, excuse me, that blow us out the water. You know what I mean? Like that acceptance is the answer. It used to be Dr. Alcoholic Addict, right? That's what the title was. Yeah. I guess they said, you know what, we got to tone this down.
Dr. Paul.
Boo.
Yeah, man, he was an animal.
That dude had his garage attached to his house, and he had like a whole formula on how to get high and make it to bed before passing out.
Yeah.
Even Bill had the sedatives and alcohol, which one of us are like a working in stocks and investments and put our wife on a sidecar and go halfway up and down the East Coast with $1,000? Like none of us would even do that. Like that's insane.
Bill, the Bill was great about writing about the insanity. Like, did you notice in there? Like, I pick up on this now that he really. Like, kind of did it from the alcoholic downplay. Like, Lois was disturbed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was there was many unhappy scenes in our sumptuous apartment.
Even he said when he took off in the sidecar, he bought like a couple of volumes with research material, and his friend suggested a lunacy thing as well. Yeah, I bet they did.
Yeah, I look at that, and I'm like, man, he really did a good job of just kind of downplaying it, and like kind of like what we do in our run.
Yeah.
A lunacy commission. What is they had? One set of clothes and a change of clothes.
Exactly. I mean, it's only so much you can fit in a sidecar when you got tent and blankets, like this. It's like Batman and Robin used to ride around in the old days in that kind of motorcycle setup. You can't put but so much in there.
Yeah.
It's like the frunk of a Tesla. Like, you're not going to put a suitcase for him and her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when he's talking about like taking his mattress down to the floor, it's like, what floor were you living on? You were pretty insane at that.
Exactly.
Lest I leap. And it's like, okay, were you really high up? Were you on the first floor? Were you living in the basement? Like, now you said you saw the Bill W. movie.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. My name is Bill W. It was incredible. I mean, the actors are like seasoned veterans, so they really made it. They really brought out the essence of that.
Yeah. Did you? What did you think of the Bill W. movie?
I loved it because I saw it as like someone in recovery. So I saw the graciousness of Dr. Bob and how and then at the end when Bill had to show humility because all the success probably was getting to his head, and I get it. But at the end, he really had to humble himself and just be a part of, and instead of standing out, he fit in, and that was pretty cool that happened. And Lois was his rock,
Yeah.
She even in the chapter Two Wives, like she even said, like it might be a time when your husband is doing well and he's riding high on this recovery thing, and he comes home drunk, and she's like saying like. Don't criticize him or yell at him and stuff. He knows what he has to do. He has to redouble his spiritual activities. She said that. So she knew when she was dealing with her husband that was an illness, and she didn't treat it like it's taking it personally,
Yeah. Now, when you said you were seeing the Bill W. movie, there was a scene at the end where he walked into a meeting or something like that. What was that scene?
It's classic, and I don't want to spoil it for people because I really want people to watch it.
Okay, well, we won't spoil it then.
But it's like this. It's like it's people in recovery now that are kind of like pack a room when they come in town. Oh, it's so and so. Yeah, I'm going to see so and so, and imagine them going to somewhere else and no one is looking at them like that, and they might be tempted to say, "Don't you know who I am?" And it's like Bill Bill is the kind of guy that could pull Trump like that. You know what I mean? He could say like, you know what? I really like started this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you act like y'all know who I was.
Don't you know who I am?
Exactly. I have arrived. I have what it takes.
I brought the motorcycle and sidecar. You guys want to see it?
Exactly. Lois, you better tell them.
Wait, what is that?
That's an alarm on my phone. It's a random to remind me where my feet are at. Forgive me.
No, you're forgiven. Did you want to turn it off? Oh.
It's over there.
Is that going to keep going off? We're going to take an alarm break real quick. Go get it, George. Go get it. Where your feet at, George? Across the room. So, all right. So you handed me some. Now, is this? Look, I got to say you were very motivating in getting me to do work because I'd see you like look at people like you would never have to say anything. You just have to give this look like, really? You didn't bring in that sheet I told you to fill out? Is this homework that you gave me or just something to read?
It's just something to read and share because a lot of people in early recovery, some of this stuff is too dense for them, and maybe a slogan or two might really help them. Like one day at a time help me, easy does it help me. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth, help me,
Oh, wow. Okay. So these are all slogans and different things.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Here we go. That's easier said than felt.
Yeah, because you get in your feelings.
Willpower tells me I must, but willingness tells me I can.
Yeah.
We're only as sick as our secrets. Heard that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you did and you'll get what you got. Do what you did and you'll get what you got.
Mm-hmm. That's like nothing changes.
If this doesn't sound like 133, if it's God's will, I will.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Time takes time. Mm-hmm. Patience takes patience. God don't make junk. It wasn't my drinking. It was my thinking. Fake it till you make it. Okay. All right. Hit it. Can you hit me on that one? Fake it till you make it. What does that mean to you?
I mean to act your way into better thinking instead of thinking your way into better acting. Act like this stuff works. I did it at 30 days. I was walking to the room, and I was struggling financially and emotionally in the beginning. And I was walking to the room, and it was cloudy. And I said, you know what? I don't have no higher power, and I really want to make this meeting. And it was thundering and everything like it was about to rain. And I remember someone in the room said, if you don't have a higher power, use mine. That's one of the slogans in there, matter of fact. And so I said, let me just act like I got his, and I reached out to this and I spoke it to the universe that I really wanted to get my 30 days, but if it was going to rain, I'm going to turn back. And it cleared up. And that's what it is. It's like, act like this stuff is working, because if you don't drink or do drugs today, something is at work, And it's beyond my power, because naturally, I've drunk so much that, it was like second nature.
Yeah. That's, wow. Yeah. What about this one? Live for today, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I hear, there's a guy in the rooms that I hear, and he's like, just for today, I qualify like that because that's all I've got is today.
Yeah. There's something in the Serenity Prayer that mentioned it, and it said, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time. And that's like slow it down, like enjoy those moments,
Yeah. A closed mouth gathers no foot. What?
You want to put your foot in your mouth if you be quiet.
I've done that several times.
I know that feeling. I've done it too.
I love my Vans sneakers, but they don't taste that good. Let's see here. Little by Slowly. I've never heard that.
Me neither.
Yeah. I don't want the morning after the night before.
Okay.
Go keep coming back. It works if you work it. Yeah, that's true. I noticed there's two different kinds of keep coming backs in AA, right? Keep coming back, right? Like, hey, keep coming back.
And the sarcastic one.
Oh yeah, keep coming back. Yeah. It's like the South A, like the A South, like bless your heart. Sit down, shut up, and listen. You got neckties longer than your sobriety in here?
It might be in there. It's about 5 pages. Yeah. I thought it was going to be just 1 page, and I printed it, and it was like 5, and I was like, I guess.
I like this.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, and a lot of newcomers will identify with some of this stuff, and that's good. That's an easy way to bring them in. They even tell us, like, in working with others, like, don't get too spiritual in the beginning. Like, just talk to them, get them comfortable with talking with themselves, and show how it worked for you.
Oh, this one's good. The mind is like a parachute. It works better when it's open.
I like that one.
Were you ever closed off to the steps of the program, like or what people were telling you or what they were doing when you came in? Because I know I was, and I don't know.
Yeah. I was for an entire year. I'm not gonna lie. I just went to meetings, and I didn't drink between meetings, and I didn't do no drugs, and I got a year sober, and I also got misery, got irritableness. I was discontent. I was in my feelings. I had fear, and then I said, you know what? This is not this. This feels like I'd be better off drinking. And I went and got a sponsor, and it just cleared away a lot of that stuff, man. It's like a closet. You look in your closet. There's a lot of stuff like T-shirts that I haven't worn in years, and it's like, why is that stuff there? Like clean house, man.
Yeah, I noticed in the beginning when I was further away from a drink, the more restless, irritable, and discontented I get, and it takes it back to the doctor's opinion. They're restless, irritable, discontent until they can experience the sense. That first drink, and I didn't go a whole year. I don't know if I would have made it if I went a whole year dry, but a few months was enough.
Yeah.
It was really
Yeah.
Man.
And this stuff is so freeing and it's so self-sustaining. You know, it's like it's like a gift that keeps on giving. You know, like even we was coming here today and we were right like feet away from each other. Like, hey, where you at? Just passing Longhorn and all that. Me too.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, what? I was like, what? You're in an Uber? Yeah. Where you at? Oh, I'm in this white Jetta. Oh, I see you behind me. See my antenna on the car? You can't miss that antenna on the cars.
But it was great that, you know, in recovery you can see all of that stuff, you know, and you make the call at, you know, and it's like you're where you're supposed to be at that moment to do what you're doing.
Yeah. That's where your feet at. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else in that little red book that hit you profoundly?
That was the incredible one, but the other one was even in the beginning. They was talking about this is in the introduction, and they said, "Oh no, a better one. I got a better one in the back." It talked about the big book.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, this is. I hate to use the word dope, but this is good. Right? You know how we used to talk about, yo, this is dope, man. No, it's not.
Well, there's two kinds of dope.
Yeah, it says, for the best results, consider yourself a patient in AA for the arrest of an incurable disease. Determined to get the utmost from your treatment. Go on the theory that AA can do without you, but that you cannot live without AA. Avoid unreasonable demands upon your sponsor. Never get the idea that by slipping, you let your sponsor down. You are the person who will suffer. God is the one you will let down. Buy a big book and follow its advice. It is foolish to assume you can recover from alcoholism without a book which contains the recovery instructions. Abstain from weakening the AA program with 12-step substitutions, or you will water it down to a point of drunkenness. Don't take AA lightly. It may be your last chance for sanity or sobriety. Your decision to live the AA program is important. Put nothing ahead of it. Approach it with honesty, humility, open-mindedness, willingness, and appreciation. That's the little red book, boy. That's what that's Dr. Bob. See how this reads differently than the big book reads, you know?
It does. Yeah. Well, you know, like hearing that and like basically like what I get from that is like attack it with the utmost seriousness because this is serious. Yeah. And when I go to 132, we've been speaking to you of serious, sometimes tragic things. We've been dealing with alcohol in its worst aspect, but we aren't a glum lot. If newcomers could see no joy or fun in our existence, they wouldn't want it. We absolutely insist on enjoying life. Yeah. We enjoy life, but there is a deadly earnestness behind this.
You said the right term, the deadly earnestness.
Oh, yeah. Crack that big book. Let's do this.
Yo, that is something. Because even before Bill said it, the doctor said, I earnestly advise every alcoholic to read this book through. And though perhaps he came to scoff, he may remain to pray. Like that's what a doctor said. Like before you push this to the side. But then Bill said that there is, however, a vast amount of fun about it all. I suppose some will be shocked at our seeming worldliness and levity. And levity means humor, especially in serious matters.
Oh,
see how Bill is? Bill is sharp.
Yeah, he's a word freak.
Yeah, he said, but just underneath there is deadly earnestness. Faith has to work 24 hours a day in and through us, or we perish.
Yeah.
So you got to talk it and walk it.
Walking it was hard at first.
Yeah.
You know, what? Because you could talk it all day long. Yeah, it's walking it though is a lot different. I heard a speaker when he broke down the triangle, and it was service, recovery, unity. He's like, service is to contribute, unity is to belong, and recovery is to learn, uncover, and discover and discard whatever is blocking me.
Wow, that's recovery.
That is.
Sobriety is just not drinking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah.
There's a deadly earnestness behind this. And how do you deal? There's a couple of things I want to ask you before we wrap this up. You helped me learn to deal with loss in this program. How do you deal with loss in your life? Especially like if it's somebody that in the program, and maybe you could share that if you feel okay doing that.
Yeah, and what it is that, and I've been to more funerals sober than when I wasn't, and I probably was wasted. Just forgot today. But what I do is just like in the Serenity Prayer, the long version, and the bottom half, it says, trusting that He will make all things right if I surrender to His will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with Him forever in the next. And when I have friends that passed on, I believe that they're at peace now. You know how we always say, well, he's not suffering anymore, or she's not suffering anymore, or she's not in pain anymore, you know, and that's what I look at it like that, man. And what it does to me, it removes them physically, but it attaches to my spirit, you know, like my mother passed alcoholic, and now she lives in my heart, you know, and that's better than just to see her and, hey, Mom, I love you, see you later, you know. It's like she's with me. I'm a reflection. I'm my mother's son now, you know. I really take that part, you know, that responsibility. I take that seriously, you know, in all my affairs.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, we have fun, but there is a seriousness to this. That's a great way to put that. They're always with me in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. George, I saw that you had in so two things before we wrap it up, the typical two things. Here we go. I saw that you had as a bookmark in your little red book, your bookmark's a gratitude list. Did I see that?
I make it, and this one was perseverance. Look at that.
It is. Oh, that spirit. Oh, perseverance. What is it? Continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition.
Yeah.
Spirituality, the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. Can I have this?
It's yours.
But you got a gratitude list.
Yeah. And I just keep it like that because now it's like I carry the tools of someone in recovery. You know, just like a guy come to your house to do the cable, he has the tools that a cable guy would carry. You know, and that's just some of the stuff that I have. You know, like so I have some physical tools, I have some spiritual tools, but I keep my. Let me see what I got in my.
What do you? You're like a casino of sobriety.
Hey man, I love
your arm,
having
does a chip fall out?
I love having all of these. Like I call it change in my pocket.
Yeah, what do you got in there?
Because if it doesn't change, then there's no change. You know? So,
all right, what do we got today?
Look.
All right, hold on. Okay, 50 cents. What is this one?
It was a gift from a friend of mine, and it was great. That was about recovery and
That's
stuff.
a Phoenix coin.
Yeah, Rise Over the Masses.
You got a medallion there.
That's yours.
Oh, really? Oh, there's your 12-year medallion.
Yeah.
Okay, now I love this because the colors always change.
Yeah.
But the one that always stays the same is the white chip.
Yeah.
George put all his chips out on the table. What's this black chip?
I don't know. It's a black thing.
Is this because for some BS? Like, I know we got the resentment chips. Do we still do the resentment chips
We
here?
still do them. We have a couple of members that have most of them, but hopefully they'll return them.
And you got 3 blue chips.
Yeah, 3 shades of blue.
You got 18 months here. Big Book Blue, 6 months.
That's it.
And you know, I remember the resentment chip, and I've heard people make sometimes a big deal out of it. Some people are like, oh, whatever. I remember I got a resentment chip once, and it was green, and I rubbed it, and underneath was a white chip.
Because tell you how quick a resentment can go back to a white chip. All right,
all right, so thank you. You know what? I'll let you give that medallion some other day.
Yeah.
No, or I'm sorry, will you be giving it or will Spider-Man be giving it?
Spider-Man might be. Yeah, I know. I saw him when I was at the Daily Bugle the other day.
That's the paper. The Daily Bugle. All right, Peter Parker. So that's you. Okay, that's amazing. You carry those tools with you.
Yeah.
Well, it's an inspiration because people talk about talking it, people walk it, and it's walking it is so powerful. Mm-hmm. It is. So, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful that this day consisted of so many lessons and blessings that I might have missed so many of them. It just comes at me with every breath, man. It really is now. I've slowed it down almost to a breath, like in with God, I breathe out with George, and I just I just let it fly, man. And I'm just grateful that like the problem has really been removed. It doesn't even exist anymore. Today, this moment. And that's what we do. We live one day at a time, enjoy each moment, every moment at a time.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Wow. How about this one? The newcomer. What do you have for the newcomer?
I'm on your side. I'm rooting for you. I hope I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm never too busy to reach out to a newcomer, even if it's just to listen, because they told me a long time ago when I was even in recovery that the most precious thing you could give someone is your time.
Wow. Yeah, you see new people come in and out all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I give them my time and I believe in them, and I don't have to tell them what they have to do. You walk in that door, you don't have to say you need help. You're walking in this door. Right? You come here for the coffee. There's coffee at Starbucks.
I was at Starbucks and they said, listen, you want a really good cup, right? Listen, there's this AA room. What? Yeah,
recovery is joy, man. It really is.
Yeah. Well, George, do you know what else is joy?
What? The van? I'm going to come with my guitar one day.
Hold on here. Do you want to kick it, George?
Go ahead, kick it.
No, you hit the button. You got to hold it. One? Yeah, top one.
All right.
Kick it, boys. Yeah.
Right on.
And studio audience. There you go. Inflating that ego. There you go. Wow, what's going on here? George, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you thanks for all you do.
The pleasure's mine, man. And thank you, man. Continue to ride this wave, man. It gets better.
Absolutely. You said to me once, before we go, how does it feel to see a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a freight train?
Exactly.
It feels pretty good. All right. Goodbye, everyone, and be well.
Take care.
Thanks, George. Yep. Bye.